Hello, everyone. This is J.L. Mosman, and I am doing the after show, after the theological speaking show. Now that the interview is over, I have taken off my shoes. I'm in my favorite recliner chair, kicking back, and we're going to talk about the interview that I had with my guest, Chad Bird. First of all, I want to say thank you to Chad for being on the show. It means a lot, especially his being the kind of cardinal, the beginning, the premiere episode of Theological Speaking. It was really good to have him on talking about the Old Testament. So right now, I am going to be reading. We're going to be reading your comments either on Twitter or on Facebook. If you want to join the video chat online, please go to my Facebook page or my Twitter. You can find connections to those, links to those, by going to my website, jlmosman.net. The Twitter account, though, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, is at real, REAL. You can hear probably the sirens in the background. Sorry. _ JL Mosman. And you can just look for me, the real JL Mosman, on Facebook as well. So I'm going to be reading some of your thoughts here as we go over our interview that I had. And my first thought that I had was just how well Chad did at keeping his thoughts together. He really came prepared, and I really appreciate that. We kind of talked about a little different stuff. I wanted us to have a wide range of things that we had, and it was really kind of good to be able to get that. So it was able to have a good conversation back and forth, and that was just really good. So our first one is from Alicia Fries, who was using Twitter. She said, at Real JL Mosman, thanks, this was good. Thanks for sharing. I'm just going to go ahead and go to that. Thank you, Alicia. I do appreciate that. Appreciate everyone who's listening. I'm going to respond to her here. So thank you for listening. So as you can kind of tell, I'm just kind of here responding to some of your Facebook and Twitter accounts, comments and questions. So again, thank you, Alicia Fries, for giving us your comment. Looks like I got a post on Facebook from Jason Casper. Says he can't wait to hear the interview with Chad L. Bird tonight. Well, thank you, Jason Casper. Don't forget, I'm going to comment on that. Don't So, again, I'm so happy right now that I, getting the show put together. It's a labor of love. It's hard to kind of do live shows sometimes because you get to a point that you've got the technological issues. You've got, like, for example, right now, for some reason, my camera's not responding. So I don't know. I don't know if my computer needs to be restart or if just Google Hangouts doesn't like me right now. But either way, we go on with the show. But so a couple of things if you missed the show. First of all, please go back and watch the episode. Again, I must apologize. There was like this little bing every time I was going from the mute. I didn't think I was going to have a problem. I didn't know, because when I started to get it set up for tonight's episodes for the show, I, for some reason, wasn't able to listen to anything. Like, I couldn't listen to anything on YouTube. We couldn't listen to my Spotify. And I like to listen to music when I get ready for stuff. Just kind of gets me in the mood. So I was trying to figure out what it was. I had the headset. The headset usually works when I play my video game on the computer. So sure enough, we get going. He gets on, and I can't hear him, and he can't hear me. And then I can hear him, but then he still can't hear me. So then I just realized I'll plug in the camera. So I'll have to figure out, if you know anything about dealing with a camera that has a mic, I should just get a regular camera. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Although I do like not having the headphones on my head. I just kind of like, to me, if I could make it feel like a live interview show without the the feeling of, I've got this headset on me, and I feel like I'm in a helicopter and I'm listening to, that would be great. But I also know that may be my best option for the best sound quality. So again, I have to apologize for that little weird beeping noise. But right now I am reading your comments live and talking about what's going on. So I can continue to go here on my Twitter. Let's see what's going on here. By the way, did you guys hear that Eagle guitarist Glenn Frey died? My deepest found apologies and condolences. I am really sorry that I didn't able to know that till now, but very sad. The Eagles were a really great band. They're a really great band. And so, anyways, so let's keep on going here. This is a kind of a process. Eventually, next time, I would like to have. By the way, if you hear that little beep noise, that was Chad saying thank you for having me on the show. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. But I would like to have the guests stay on for just a little bit for the after-hour show. Maybe we can do that next time. I am working with a great interview. I have Pastor Donovan Riley. We're going to square down the details for the exact date for the show, because what I plan on doing with this show is going and taking doing one episode a month, because I don't know, it takes a lot of work to kind of prepare for an interview, and it takes a lot of work to get your schedules maxed. So I don't know how I could do this like on an every week basis, or so yeah. So the month is going to work the best for me right now. Plus, I don't want to get burnt out on interviewing. I did that last time. I mean, I was like, it was kind of like an every 2-week thing, and that was just a little much for me. But I think if I keep it at the 1 month, it will be great. But maybe next time, Pastor Donovan Riley will stay after. I would have done that if I would have thought about it, but I thought I was just going to make a little video. And I thought, let's just have some fun and do a live show and reward the people who commented and liked and do all that stuff during the show. And again, thank you very much from the deepest sinful parts of my heart. I thank you. But let's see here. So if you didn't know what dual covenant theology was, I would like to give you a good refresher now, because I don't know if this fits with you, if it doesn't or not, I don't know. But it definitely for me was it's definitely one of those issues that, while it's nothing new, it's definitely an issue that a lot of Christians have. When we talked about this in the pre-interview green room. Basically, before we get ready for the show, we go over things, double check everything's going well with the mics and all that. we talked about the rapture element. I did actually have that in my question because rapture does end up being a huge reason for people believing in dual covenant theology. But it's not just that people, have to justify this rapture idea, right? This idea that Jesus' second coming is completely determined upon a millennial reign and the building of a temple, which right there puts you in a theological quandary when it comes to saying, well, Jesus must rely on someone or do something physical, or some human at some point is going to be the catalyst for Christ's return. That's so unbiblical. So that's there, but I think another thing of it is there's a lot of great, well-intentioned Christians who see the plight of the Jewish people, and the Jewish people have gone through a lot. But I think they want to just say, you know what, they were God's people. They were mentioned in the Bible. God still got to love them, right? God still, But as Chad Bird said tonight on the show, God did love them. God did love them. His love for them, what was that? By sending the Messiah. It's not God's fault that they reject the Messiah, is it? I think that's an important issue to keep in mind when you're talking about this. But there's this kind of good feeling sense that we don't want to feel like the Jews, because we want to feel like they're kind of like our brother from another mother, kind of thing, right? They still worship the same God, in the sense of the God of Abraham, but they just, no. You start going down that path, you start really, really limiting what Jesus does for the atonement of our sin. You start to really get down in that gritty, gray matter where we're not sure what Jesus did or who Jesus did, or if it matters what birthright you have or what promises are, that we know that Jesus is the fulfillment of the promises. He's the center of that prophecy. So it's a struggle for me to see even how people could get there. But by the way, if you didn't go to my website, jlhusband.net, I did talk about that today. I was writing this at 3 a.m. and someone did notice a little typo, so I do where a comma should be somewhere. So I do apologize. I will get that fixed. But for the most part, I want to read you my thoughts on this issue of dual covenant theology. And it goes like this. Everybody needs Jesus. It is nothing new, but it still just gets to me that for many Christians who especially go around talking to other Gentiles about meeting Jesus, that they stop the message short when it comes to the Jewish folks. The idea is that somehow Jewish folks, and maybe not the rest of the Israelites, or maybe they are, because we're kind of confused on exactly who God's people are, because we kind of forget about the other 11 tribes of Israel, but that's a slight note there. The sentiment is usually tantamount to this idea because God made them a promise and that they were his people originally, that he has never forgotten them, that he'll still remember them. However, this is, of course, not the case. In fact, it was them and eventually us Gentiles who do get the same benefit because of having faith in Christ. We are on the same even keel. And the first century Jewish Christians kind of wanted to do a similar thing of kind of elevating them over us, regular Gentiles, right? But the reality is, as St. Paul puts in Romans 4, okay, that faith was accounted to him. Faith that Abraham was considered righteous by faith, and that he was considered circumcised before he was uncircumcised because of the Spirit. But anyways, I go in there and talk and bring up these examples about the dangers of it. So please do check that out if you get the time. Well, this is about the time I start to wrap up, but if you had any more comments or questions or anything to that about, I would love for you guys to talk about it or hear it. Again, we're going to have a better organized after show, but I want to thank Chad Bird for coming on, and thank you all for listening and supporting, and have a good night, and God bless.